Welcome to another edition of News with the Loon. I am back. We're going to have another episode tomorrow, and next week we're going to be back on our regular schedule. I'm going to try to do something a little bit more detailed during the weekend, so stay tuned for that. Now, today's date is July 23rd, 2025. Now, the first thing we want to partake in is our daily forecast for the week, well, for the day at least. So currently it's 78 degrees with no precipitation, 50% humidity, so it's a little bit muggy, and again, non-existent wind. So tomorrow is supposed to be another day. It's going to be hotter than today. It's going to be 83 degrees with a high of 83 degrees. We're looking at a 5% precipitation, so chances of rain, not so much tomorrow. 56% humidity, so it's going to be muggier than today was. And the wind is supposed to be about 12 miles an hour, which means you might get lucky to get a decent breeze here and there. Now we're going to go right into the news. And what we're going to do, hold on a minute, let's see if we can retrace. If you are a cyclist in the city, there is some frustration going on there. Let me see. We're going to get this video going. Okay. So make sure, you're able to see it. That's not what I wanted you to see, but I can't skip these to apologize. But there's some frustration going with cyclists right now because the NYPD is cracking down bicycle laws. Let's see if
or just
all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this larger for you. I do apologize. Sometimes they have ads. I'm not paying for ABC. But this is what's going on according to...
And if you come this close to getting mowed down the streets of New York by a bicycle or one of those electric bikes, also known as a motorcycle, I'm starting to count. We're going to run out of time over ABC News if I keep going like this. But tonight, our Kimberly Richardson digging deep into what's wrong in all this danger and how New York City is now trying to rein it in.
It can often feel like the game Frogger getting around New York City.
When I turn, there's bicycle here. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to hit one of them.
There are countless near misses and direct hits.
I was crossing Hudson and a bike was going the wrong way in the bike lane. So I was looking at this way for traffic and then the bike came the other direction.
A violation that would now result in a criminal summons, along with this riding in the bus lane and this on the sidewalk. It's all part of a citywide crackdown on cyclists, a broader quality of life campaign that rolled out in April.
New Yorkers are telling us that even as crime falls, that they still don't feel safe.
The NYPD said part of the plan would focus on out-of-control scooters and e-bikes. Well, in the past few months, nearly 6,000 tickets have been handed out to cyclists, compared to 561 in the first of 2025.
This is a war on people just for riding a bike.
Charlie Baker with Transportation Alternatives says many in the biking community are frustrated. They feel the real culprit are cars and trucks, that there is a clear discrepancy in the way laws are being enforced.
If you are a person like you or I, and we're riding at most a 50-pound bike, right? We could actually be sent to criminal court for the same minor traffic violation that a driver of a 6,000-pound car would only receive a traffic ticket.
Critics say what's needed are more protected bike lanes and more regulation when it comes to app-based delivery services that rely on e-bikes and scooters. Kimberly Richardson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
So if you ride a bike, please be careful. especially if you ride a bike in the city, because they're looking out for, they're looking at enforcing some laws that some people may have forgotten is actually on the books. Okay. Let's go on to our next story. If you live in New York, you may be interested in the vehicle that is mostly stolen here in New York City. It may even surprise you, the one vehicle that is constantly being stolen. Let's see. I'm sorry, it's not the Kia. All right. Let's find out. The number one car stolen
is adding a tough-looking trail sport model of its CRV compact SUV for the 2026 model year. The CRV is Honda's top-selling vehicle in the United States and the country's second best-selling non-pickup. The CRV Trail Sport gets more cosmetic upgrades than functional changes, but it was surprisingly capable on a short off-road course in the dusty hills east of San Diego. 18-inch Continental all-terrain tires and retuned traction control gave it more off-road chops than most CRV owners are ever likely to use. Hill descent control, which manages the steep slopes, is standard. Visual changes include a non-functional skid garnish, not to be mistaken for a skid plate to protect underbody components. There's also black interior trim and handsome Trail Sport badges. The CRV Trail Sport prices start at $38,800, excluding destination charges. It's in dealerships now. This is Detroit Free Press auto critic Mark Phelan reporting.
This vehicle is listed, according to the Observer Dispatch, as the most stolen cars in New York. And you wouldn't think so, because it seems it to me would not seem like a city vehicle, but it is. And anybody who has it, according to the National Insurance Crime Bureau data, it would be in your best interest, if you're in New York, to add some extra insurance and add some, alarms on your vehicle. Now, the next story is hitting a little bit closer to home, may actually be a bit disturbing to most. Let's see if we can get this going. Let's make sure I'm not frozen. It must be Mercury retro or something, because everything is moving ever so slowly. So, we have a Manhattan bomb plot foiled as New York man building stash IEDs across the city. This is real, not a fake story. All right, I guess their update has more to do. Okay. Last month, a 55-year-old Long Island man was arrested and charged for manufacturing at least 7 IEDs and spreading them across the rooftops throughout Manhattan. This including, he threw it, from what I understand, also on some trucks. This we don't know how they found the knowledge of this man, but he was arrested on June 5th. So this is over a month long. They're just letting us know now. And he has been charged. We're going to keep an eye on this, and this is going to be one of the stories. We're going to see where he was. And then we're going to go on to the next thing. Are you thinking about going out throughout New York State, not even just the city, New York State, and checking out some of the, but you don't know how much they are? Well, we have the fair director, Julie LaFave, and she made some prediction. So let's see what she has to say. We're gonna
raise prices this year. So it's still $8 to get in. If you're 65 and up, 12 and under, still one of the best deals in the country for any fair out there. We are intentionally family affordable. You know, all that free entertainment once you walk in the door. You really don't have.
The two top concerns I would say people always have, and parking. I know you can't exactly, but what can you tell us about security at the fairgrounds?
Behind the scenes, we're always making upgrades. We're always learning from last year. One of the things that we're doing this year, and right now you can actually enroll in it, is you text NYSF for New York State Fair to 888-777. Fairgoer can be enrolled in any type of alert that we have to push out, any type of notification. So one way we're increasing the communication.
And what about with parking? How's that going this year?
Parking, we work constantly with DOT, with parking services. We monitor when our concerts are, when we're going to get the heavy flow, and we're going to do that all day long, all 13 days.
Something that has the entire family coming out. But I'll talk about is you have a lineup this year with concerts, I think, for all ages.
Yes, we try intentionally to make it as many genres as possible. We don't want to have country or all rock or all children's show. What's exciting, we're taking the Steve Miller canceled, but right now that gives us an opportunity to find another new exciting thing that we're very close to being able to announce that.
Ooh, okay. So an exciting announcement. We're really excited for the fair this year. Thank Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining, and stay with us. We'll be right back.
So if you're thinking about seeing the New York State Fair, going to New York State Fair, it looks like it's going to be fun. Now we're going to get into some really serious items here. Let's see. The next thing we are going to discuss is the recall. We're going to our recall section. And this is local, if ice cream. Let's see if we get this back a little. So there is a recall, and I had to play the Listeria thing because it is on the ice cream produced by Rich's Ice Cream. The FDA announced July 17th that this Florida-based ice cream was recalling select products due to a potential outbreak, contamination. So the lot number for these items, well, true, and I'm going to add this article. If it's 24351 through, okay. If you have this ice cream, I would suggest either reaching out to the actual company or reaching out to where the place purchased the item. Now we have a list of the type of ice creams that is being recalled for the product. It is the chocolate crunch cake bars, strawberry shortcake bars, rich bars, crumble cookie bars, orange cream bars, fudge frenzy bars, cotton twirl bars, savagely sour raspberry bars, savagely sour cherry bars, and cool watermelon bars. If you have these items and they are and they fall in between where the lot number is, I am going to put the link in our chat. So you could look it up in the articles just to be, you can't be too safe. And they could check it out and speak to these items and see if they can go ahead and either they have a run policy of some sort. Or if you want to be extra safe, you could go ahead it yourself. All right, on the recall list, we also have, if you like herring, salted smoked herring, recall from the distributor, East Trading of Bronx, New York, is recalling the salted smoked split herring. They found potential contamination of botulism, which is something you can't play with within these. So if you have these sardines, I would suggest that you either contact them, the distributor, or where you bought them. Now, these sardines are sold in the tri-state area. This is New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Now, they are sold No. Yes, they're sold in 18 pounds wooden boxes with containers code lot 1 PRC 5073. It is very important if you buy these items that you double check with who you bought them from, and make sure that these items, the particular herring that you have is not part of this recall. Okay. Now we have another recall. Actually, we're getting closer and closer to home. Let's see a video going.
And if you're recently bought some beef from Food Lion in Gastonia, there is a recall out for the ground beef prepared and in-store at the New Hope location. May contain traces of foreign material. What that is, HEB 73, 80, and 93% lean ground beef are all impacted. On March 1st after 1 p.m. The sell-by date of March 3rd, and anyone who purchased the listed products is asked to not eat them and return them to Food Lion for a refund.
Okay. So if you bought these items from Food Lion, it is highly suggested that you return them to Food Lion. And they are looked at specifically if you bought it at 22211 North New Hope Road in Gastonia. I'm not familiar with that area. So if the best thing you could do is double check with your store. Next, we are going to go to the borough of Queens. Queens, you are. Let's see if I can get this up. Okay, we are going to see if I could get this up for you. There we go. All right. I do apologize. Some technical difficulties going on here. We are going to go to Queens, and unfortunately, we have somewhat of a tragedy to discuss. Okay. This occurred, I do believe, on Monday. Seven train, let me see, on Jackson Heights. This was 2 days ago, but this will tell you why service was an issue.
young woman was badly hurt tonight somehow she fell off the subway platform and then was hit by a train. This happened at 74th Street 7 train station at Jackson Heights. The 23-year-old woman was taken to Elmhurst Hospital in serious condition. Cops are still investigating how she fell off platform.
This is basically a word of warning to everybody.
Breaking news in the controversy.
You just never know what might happen. That's why they have that yellow line there. And hopefully she will be okay. Luckily, this tragedy so far, there's no news yet, 2 days later, of anything of her not making it. So hopefully all will be well. Let's go to the next story. Let's retry this. We had an incident occur at Belrose, Queens. Let's see if we get this article up and going.
But first, we have some breaking news to tell you about a 60 section of a facade falling from a building. This is in the Belrose section of Queens. 3 people are hurt. Tom Kaminsky over the scene right now in News 7. Tom, tell us exactly what's going on. A mess we're looking at.
It is a mess on the street. Very frightening scene. Happened about an hour and a half, 45-13 Jericho in the Belrose section of Queens, a 60-foot section, and you'll see how long of a section this is, fell down to the street at about 4:30 this afternoon. Now, again, there were 3 injuries at this point. We understand that there was a 25-year-old male that was injured, and also 2 children and a 13-year-old girl in that dark-colored Jeep. And when the action of that facade came down, and some eyewitnesses to the scene report that this just came down with a very loud sound and without any kind of warning at all.
I stopped at the light down there and I heard a loud boom. So I looked behind me and all I saw was smoke in the air and people running towards the building.
Luckily, only one person was underneath. He came out and he was already standing on his own. Thank God, by the grace of God, that he was not injured so visibly. He had a few scratches on his body, and his name was Ganesh. We laid him down. We gave him water, cooled him down until paramedics came.
And as you can see, as we come back to live pictures from Newscopter 7, fire crews now on the scene, just sort of beginning to try to reopen this section of Jericho Turnpike. Very busy here on a Wednesday afternoon. Some onlookers across the street, at least part of Jericho Turnpike is open. Those 3 people taken to a local hospital for treatment of their injuries. We are live over the Belrose section. Queens, Tom Kaminsky, Channel 7.
So there you have it, in Belrose. So if you're in the area, Jericho Turnpike may be not available to you at this moment. So we gotta see what happens with this, and that's another story we're going to keep an eye on. One more story for Queens, and guess what? An old hospital from that in Queens has been transformed to affordable housing, according to the Gothamist. The old Parkway Hospital in Forest Hills has been closed and abandoned for more than 2 decades. This building has been worked on, and they're transforming it to be affordable housing for the area. We who live in New York knows affordable housing is one thing that we need a lot of. There has been delays due to federal funding being cut here or clawed back there, but this appears that this affordable housing will occur, and it's going to come to life. So if you're in Queens and you're in the Forest Hills area, you may be looking forward to some affordable housing, and we know how important that is to us New Yorkers. Speaking of housing, we're going to go over to Brooklyn, Brooklyn, the housing lottery has been launched for 211 Nostrum Avenue in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. This affordable housing is an 8-story building that's going to be used for mixed items. They are going to be in the lottery. 9 units are available via New York City Housing Connect. So it seems like affordable housing is coming around, but this is a lottery. So you would have to reach out to experience. That's a nice looking bathroom, hallway, kitchen. So if you put in for the lottery, lottery in Brooklyn, you may be fortunate. There is no prospective renters must meet income and household size requirements to apply for these apartments. Apartments must be postmarked and submitted online no later than August 12th, 2025. So if you want to go ahead and join this lottery and you are in Brooklyn, go ahead and you have to August 12th. And I'm going to go ahead and put this little gem in the chat for those of you who come along later and want to see more details for this article. Beautiful, beautiful. So now we're looking at affordable housing. And unfortunately, the next story we are going to go ahead and address is a little misfortune. A body was discovered in Harris. Let's see. The body of a 26-year-old woman was found in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. They're waiting for the examiner to advise us basically the cause of death. But we'll let News 12
Well, now onto this update here. The death of an elderly woman found inside her Bensonhurst home is raising many questions. And tonight, we may have found how she may have died. News 12's Morgan Scott is there on 63rd Street, where some of her neighbors say until now, they've not seen her outside as normal for weeks. Morgan Scott, we're going to send things over to her now. Morgan.
Yeah, after talking with several people on this block, the news of that 86-year-old woman's passing comes as a shock to some, despite her age. But they tell us what's even more shocking was seeing the daughter of that elderly woman placed in handcuffs. Police have not yet confirmed that they are investigating this as a homicide, but at least 4 people here tell me they saw the woman's daughter being detained, put in the back of a police car. Detectives were in and out of the home here searching for evidence since yesterday. A source close to police telling us they received the 911 call from a worried neighbor who saw flies completely covering the front window. 86-year-old Kim Tu was then found unconscious and unresponsive. We're also told by several residents that from time to time they would see her daughter who lived in the same house.
The unfortunate thing is I think was some mental illness. She would come out and walk up and down the block yelling and sometimes some foul language. So like if you were walking down the street, you would cross.
As for the elderly woman,
it's sad to see that she's gone and, at such a frail age and state that she was in.
The medical examiner's office tells us they are still looking into the exact cause of death, although the family's religious beliefs may delay that process. In Bensonhurst, Morgan Scott, News 12 Brooklyn.
Morgan, a lot of
So this is under investigation. If you have your mother and elderly, go by and visit. Make sure everything's okay. Now, this is a more upbeat story. If you're in Brooklyn and you're a fan of Chick-fil-A, you are a wonderful treat. Chick-fil-A this Thursday is opening a new location. Hold on, location here. They're opening Thursday, which is tomorrow, on Smith Street and Livingston Street. It opens at 6:30 on Thursday. And to celebrate the restaurant moving into town, cows will eat free on opening day. What do you mean cows? If you dress like a cow, you get a free meal. This is according to their media release. So if you have a cow costume hanging around and you want a free meal, love Chick-fil-A, head on down to Smith Street and Livingston, and you will be celebrating the moving in of Chick-fil-A in that area, and you will get a free meal. Let's see. For example, we have cows right here. It's tomorrow. They open at 6:30. They don't have a closing time, so I don't know. So enjoy. Now we're going to go to some national news. Let's see if we can get there. I'm going to let the Director of National Intelligence speak on her own. This is going to be something I'm probably going to do a special report on because I have to read the documents, but this is an announcement that needs to be listened to and heard. Here we go.
Navy Mutual's Level 2 Plus Term Life Insurance.
Sorry about the commercials. Can't avoid them. They like to give them to you.
We have implicates former President Obama. And do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
So we are living in a time of unprecedented actions, and there is a document about deception to the American people. I am going to go ahead and try to do a deep dive on this and possibly do a special report. But this is basically what's going on. There's a couple of other files I have to do a couple of deep dives on. And on the national stage, I do feel sorry for those who live across the Gulf of America, because it looks like the National Hurricane Center is watching for another potential storm. Guys keep getting beat up. So let's see what they have to say about the upcoming storm that's coming in that direction. We are in the middle of hurricane season.
Is right on our doorstep. Now is the time for communities all across the United States, all across the Atlantic Basin, East Pacific Basin, to prepare and get ready for what is expected to be a busy hurricane season. NOAA's seasonal forecast came out last week with a 60% chance of above normal activity across the Atlantic Basin.
This is the one to end on, because New York, we are part of the hurricane pathway. Hurricane season is about to start. Hurricane season technically is from August to down to November, and we have been hit that late, but you never know being early in the season. So maybe this weekend we should touch upon hurricane preparedness for our area. We don't want to get caught off guard, and being prepared is the proper way of getting there. So on that, Kate, in this, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for coming and stopping by and enjoying the news with the Loon, or being informed with the news with the Loon. And feel free to drop a message. I'll be more than happy to answer as long as I see your message. Have a good one. Enjoy your day. Dress cool, New York. It's going to be a hot one.